And we are live. Hey, namaste, and welcome over at Official Sri and Kira over at YouTube. And we are here today, right now, because it's a moment of divine empowerment.
It truly is.
Yeah, it is.
This is an exciting moment because we're here opening something new, also coming full circle with all of our beautiful women that have been here with us.
It's a great day, and I am Master Lady Kira Ra.
And I'm Jess Juntunen.
Hey there, and we are so happy to share this moment with you right now. Thank you for being here as we really address and go deep into what this moment of empowerment is all about. What ignited at 8/8/2020 with the Lion's Gate has now really birthed. And in that birth, we are now before a great moment of expansion, integration, and amplification. So this is not the moment to be shy. Over at YouTube, Official Sri and Kira, please ask us your questions, share with us your stories, put them into the chat. Jess and I will be checking in with you during this live event. And if you are getting the replay of this live event, you get the blessing of all the ones that we're going to be chatting with and talking about as well.
Absolutely. And as we're getting started today, you know, we really have to start with sharing about the power of this weekend.
Yes. Oh, no, yes. We have to. Yes. We absolutely have to. And I do want to share that right now, literally, we had to put a terabyte hard drive to collect all of the video that our amazing beings that are here have been collecting. What happened here over the weekend, you know, it really got summed up when Alexander was leaving and he looked at me and he shared with Sri and I, and Alexander is our head shaman and from the Kanyari. And he looked at Sri and I, Jess, and he said, there are places that people call power spots on this planet that do not have this energy.
Right.
He said that. And then he looked at me and said, this is a very magic property that they spent all night feeling the magic. And one of the things that happened, and we're going to have some people that were actually there talk about it in just a moment, was that I think one of the greatest magic things that happened was the balance of the masculine and the feminine, don't you?
Yeah, it was. I got goosebumps when you shared that.
We hope you do too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really has been profound. Everything we talked about through this whole WWA Global journey when we started back in August.
Everything we dreamed of, right?
I know. It's like happening in real time. I mean, you like almost want to rub your eyes because is this real? Yes, it is. This is how miracles happen in that law of instantaneous manifestation that's been happening all weekend long.
And we had what I like to call a micro festival.
We did.
It was everything you would expect at a micro festival, from the naked babies to the puppies, to the people running around, the tents pitched on the side of our property, the big tent, you know, it really was cooking in the earth, the Panchamanka.
Oh my goodness.
Right?
Fantastic.
Talk about that. I mean, is that crazy?
We concluded Sunday with the Panchamanka, and if some of you didn't catch that when Sri and Kira...
I'm still singing Panchamanka.
I know.
I mean, they were, I was so, don't we all still hear that? It's like, if you're gonna have it, sing it, right?
It's inside ourselves.
No, I'm still Panchamanka-ing.
Yes. So, I mean, our Earth Mother cooked our food.
Right?
Grandmother, grandfather stoned, and we ate that food together and shared. We became a community and a family over this weekend, and the Kanyari shared that so many times with us. Like, we're a family. We're brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
And the balance of the masculine and feminine and the eagle and condor, that happened. I mean, this happened. We opened this.
In all ways. And lest us not forget, we now have an active ascension portal right here at Tosa Blue Mountain. And crazy magical things are happening, and all of us are here simultaneously witnessing it. And you know, just one of the things that I hear the most often right now, and I really want to open with, especially with how today is coming together about the empowerment of this moment, is I didn't know you could live like this.
Yeah.
Right? Didn't know this was possible.
Right.
That you could eat like this, that you could live like this, that you could be with people like this. And the answer is we all can do this.
Right.
All we are is a little mini prototype of what you can build, right?
We are modeling it.
Exactly. And so let's illuminate that. And I would be remiss if I did not, because Saint Germain is just pulling us so strongly right now. And this violet flame energy is just amplifying.
Yes.
We are at the moment of the I am revelation. And I with all my heart, can I take a second?
Please,
to talk about this? Just do you mind?
Absolutely.
And I have to share that we are at a moment whereby in the essence of the consciousness expansion of everything that's happening, of the allness. And if you are not part of Monday Magic, get in there and get last night's lesson, right? In the allness that is experiencing everything, right? Allness is without limitation, otherwise it would not be the allness. How do you define the all? How do you limit the all? The all is the infinite experience. And so you cannot expect to insert into an infinite experience and stop that which is expressing, because that's how much power that train has in this moment. And the equal force that will bring that into balance. Right now it's a runaway train. It's like, hey, runaway train, where's Superman? Well, what we need is Superman, Superwoman unified as one, right? What we need is that energy that can wrap around the train, not to stop it or destroy it, but to wrap around it and offer it a safe shell where it can be what it needs to be without affecting the balance of the all. And I want you to breathe that in, because that is where we're at. That is where we're at. And that is why it is an Einstein moment.
Yes.
It is that moment. And in that energy of what's happening right now, all of the basics, and you know, I really bow. Shereen and I were recently on a television show where there was a very famous being there who I just adore. And what was so powerful for me was witnessing how very well versed this person was in reciting the same thing they've been reciting for 20 years. And that's beautiful.
That's perfect, right?
It is. I mean, it's just wonderful. And what's so wonderful about it was that it helped me see how stuck so many are.
Right.
Even those that we consider to be our role models.
Right.
And expansion is the moment at hand. So this is April. This is the I Am discourses.
Whew. Big moment.
It is.
Really.
It is. And so I encourage you with all my heart, be there, because the grid of illumination that we're lighting right now is outside of the basics. We are outside of the basics if we choose to collectively come forward with our incredible creative presence. And starting on Monday, April 12th, Monday, April 12th, just be there, right? We are going to unlock together the Course in Miracles for this moment, the self-ascended Course in Miracles, because we are ready.
This is beyond the basics for those of us that are ready to go there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I just had to jump in with that because
Thank
we're
you.
too close for you not to be registered.
Yes.
So get to ShereenKira.com and register, and let's talk about this moment, because the weekend of the WWA culmination, the 8/8 Lionsgate ignited this energy, the divine feminine rising. What is true wellness? What is true awakening? Remember, WWA is women, the divine feminine. Wellness coming into complete balance. And then the awakening beyond the limitation. And I think this weekend, a lot happened here with this community, and a lot is continuing to expand that.
Yeah, it's really been incredible to be here, and so much of our community that came that has been on this journey with us since that 8/8 moment. What's being created here, the community, the connections, the networking, the opening.
Yeah.
We are doing things that supersede what our mind could even comprehend.
We really are. We really are. And you know, that has brought us to that Phoenix. Let us not forget, we are in right now this energy of, so we had January and February in concentric dimensionality that gave rise to the shield, right? So now the shield comes up because of that first concentric. We are now closing the March, getting ready to come into the April, which will then ignite the second transit through the shield. This moment right now is culminating with an active ascension portal that is so powerful that some of the magic that happened was up on the hill when the Kanyari themselves invited the women into the sacred circle. This, I think, happened on behalf of humanity.
This is historic.
Wasn't it, though? I mean, this was
historic.
Where is National Geographic?
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, no. You want to share more?
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible what happened Friday evening as the women of, the Kanyari women were honored by the men for the first real time.
Yep.
Right? And everyone shared there wasn't a dry eye there while the women were honored for everything they have done. Oh my goodness. And and the women that came here, you know,
oh my God, when do you see the pictures?
So beautiful, you know, and for a long time, you know, and they opened up and shared in ways they never have, you know, and it meant so much to them and us. It was so balanced in co-creation between all of us and so heartfelt, you know. And then, you know, as we journeyed into the second night and we did the Temescal, literally the womb of rebirth with those women and men and became one together, that happened, you know, and it was beyond incredible. I mean, I'm still integrating a lot of what happened there, and I know we all are.
Yeah, and this is because it's all of us doing this together.
It's all of us.
Right? This was the work that we were called to do here to anchor this portal, to really call this open, because it is the time of the wise counsel.
Yes.
We're putting together right now, I mean, I kid you not, a terabyte hard drive of film, trying to put together, and I encourage you, make a note this Sunday, the return of Shri and Kira Live at noon Pacific time, right here at Official Shri and Kira YouTube. We will have the first video from what happened here this weekend. Get ready.
Yeah.
Because what I feel we were modeling all weekend was exactly what the WWA energy is, which is the opening of the wise counsel. The coming back together of the way of the counsel, the way of wisdom, the way of balance, the way that recognizes that all have the right to be, yet nothing needs to die for another to live. And when we can own that, how can we ever stop killing each other if we can't stop killing animals? Just look at the ease with which life is so validated and invalidated based upon the isms. And so when a wise counsel comes together, it is very much the tribal energy of loving ourselves back to who we truly are. And that's what the Kanyari represent. The Kanyari are literally the Kan and the Yari. And that is, the sacred serpent is the Kan. And that is why the intestines move the way they do. And that is the body. And that comes up and it attaches to the reptilian brain. But the Kanyari prefer not to live in the reptilian brain. They prefer to live in the light. And so the Yari is the macaw, the Wakamaya, the giant bird mother who came and called forward that which is the Kanyari, the people of light. And that is their creation story. They are the Dogon of this side of the world. And they do love each other back when they go astray. And one of the magical things, other magical things that happened this weekend was, and on film, and we're going to be showing you some of this film, we had the honor of interviewing Alexander. And he said, we are very private people. And we do not normally let people see us this way. And how grateful they are that we have found each other, that this family has become. And did he share that with you as well?
Yeah, absolutely. It's it was just so heartfelt, the reverence that was exchanged in the conversations that we were having. And that, yes, they feel safe to be able to share and be seen. And it's their time too, you know, and the prophecies that they have that align with what's happening here. I'm getting those chills again.
Right, here it comes, truth chills.
Yes, I mean, absolutely incredible.
Yeah, no, we are in their world, we are in prophetic times, and they were crying and dancing.
This is them coming home after 2,500 years.
Thank you for really helping people get that really happened. I mean, do you guys get that really happened? This is like really freaking amazing. Why are more people not aware of this, right?
Yes.
Why is YouTube blocking our channel? You know, help us spread the word, guys. Yeah. So, you know, it really is quite interesting because so much happened. And again, as we initiate this council of wise elders, you are the elders. We are the elders. We are the ones that initiate the cycles. And I'm trying to open up the comments right now. That way, Jess and I can see them. Click to view. There it is.
Yay.
Yeah. All right. And so here we are. We just wanted to thank you and thank all of you. Yes, we are the superheroes we've been praying for. And I do agree with that. And April 12th, in all ways. Absolutely. Yes. And so as we are coming forward in these wise council energies, as the WWA energy has come forward, it is our moment for the expansion of our consciousness through oneness. The only way we are going to navigate this moment is in that unified field of presence. And that doesn't mean that you can't navigate in other ways. When the energy that offers you navigating this moment through this unified presence comes forward, the invitation is to notice that if you've connected with this broadcast, that if this information resonates with you, that if you're learning more about it, that you have been tapped on the shoulder. And that at some point we all get tapped on the shoulder. And so today, Jess and I are tapping you on the shoulder, and we want to begin doing that during this this is a 2-hour workshop that is our gift to the planet. So for those of you that are here, hoping you're able to stay with us through the entire time. And if not, make sure you get the video rebroadcast. But during this 2-hour period, we want to share our stories of empowerment. We want to hear your stories of empowerment. We're going to talk about what the WWA mentoring has called forward. And we're going to bring up some beautiful beings that are here with us now as the culmination of just the beginning of WWA. I mean,
it's a culmination, but it's a beginning.
The very, very beginning. And I want to share something with you. I got the greatest email from Jane Britton today. Jane, if you're listening, hey.
Hi, Jane.
And I hope we're all as in love with Jane and Aaron as Jess and I are.
Yes.
Jane and Aaron, of course, are the co-founders of thewaterbearers.org. Get there, support them, be a part of this. And got the best email from her today. And one of the things she said was, yesterday was World Water Day. Don't know if you guys all knew that, but it was World Water Day, and World Water Day was celebrated right here. And Jane and Aaron, that was the first time Jane and Aaron have ever been on air together.
Oh my gosh.
Ever.
Ooh.
Ever. She said, they've been working together since 2015. She said, we've always,
That's
done things, but they have never. She said, thank you so much, because we never have actually sat together. And I'm giggling that this is the first time you and I are doing this live
Thinking
as well.
about that, we've been in our separate windows
right?
until now.
Exactly.
We're together for this. Yeah.
So I just wanted to bring in that because I thought
That's
that was
awesome.
really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I want to thank our community for supporting that organization,
Yes.
who we are
Thank
now
you.
permanently supporting as part of all of our Indigenous outreach programs. And you're going to see a lot more activity coming in from Tosa Blue Mountain with thewaterbearers.org. So really hoping you guys start looking at that. Lots of exciting things coming this year. Yeah. So let's talk about that which is the journey and that which is the moment of awakening, right? The planet had this bump on 8/8/2020. When the divine feminine energy really arose, that discus of Vishnu opened, that eternal torsion field gave us the opportunity to step into the 0 point energy and be sustained in the law of instantaneous manifestation. Well, one of the caveats or one of the catches to that is the balance of the divine feminine. And so when we look at how that is happening, first and foremost, in our collective experience, in our collective creation experience, we each have that journey that we can gaze at. We see that COVID came into the picture. All of this has been an extraordinary journey. And during this journey, it has led us to this very moment. And in this very moment, you are here right now because you have been touched on your shoulder. Because your mastery presence is saying, look, the reason you're still alive, the reason you're still here, the reason that you are lining up in this way right now is to let go of the doubt that's stopping you from empowering the truth that you have known your whole life. And that's the moment we're in right now. Yeah.
Ooh, taking that in.
Thank you. Take that in, right? Yeah, breathe that in. Because imagine if all of us at once say yes to that, imagine the balance that could restore. Because instead of stepping backward and trying to please an illusion, we can step forward in the truth of our divine creation as the presence of inspiration. It's our choice. It's our choice. And it's our moment. And so the questions that come forward during times like this are the ones that we can smile at and use them, offer them the gift, the thank you for coming up to keep propelling us forward. Because in this moment, the reason why the wise counsels need to arise and come together again, the reason that our stories need to be shared, heard, and come together with is to validate what is left of the left brain so that you can feel confident, safe, and reassured to be the truth of who you are. If you like what you see in the mirror, that's what matters. That's all that matters. If when you look in the mirror, you are happy and you can smile at you, then that is a state of wholeness that transcends any sense of perceptual reality. And when you can close your eyes and transcend and love what you see there, and trust and know all that is around you, then you arise as the awakened master in form. That is a journey. That is the mastery of the yoga of self-ascension. And the yoga of self-ascension is the fabric of Women Wellness Awakenings. Women Wellness Awakenings begins with a 4-week journey that takes you to the depth of who you are, rebirths you into the moment now. It is a journey that was time-stamped and encoded when it was done live. And it is a journey that if you have not taken, you need to take now.
Yes.
You really do. Does that sound good to you?
Yes, absolutely. Get over to ShriandKira.com or WWAGlobal.com where you can pick up that powerful, powerful home study and be a part of it just as if you were there with us live, because we time-stamped it like you shared. I mean,
it's amazing. And one of the things that's happening again is the mentoring. And that's what Jess and I are here doing with all of you today, is we're going to be sharing, Jess is going to be sharing her story, how she got to where she is today. I'm going to share my story, some things I haven't shared before. We want to hear your stories because this is that moment. And this is what the mentoring for WWA does, is we just culminated, we're dancing, right?
Yes.
We just culminated a 6-month dance when the WWA Global, when that first 4-week experience, and then we came into our mentoring, and the life transforming, this community, the ability to do this, the ability to say yes was incredible.
it was beyond any of my wildest dreams.
Yeah, me too.
What happened in this journey.
Yeah. Well, let's find out. Who wants to share? Who are we bringing up, Jess?
Who would love to share? I'm looking at Whitney.
All right, Whitney, come on up. So Whitney gets to go first because she was sitting right here. So this is Whitney from New Jersey. And yes. And Whitney, you are here now, and you were with us in the original WWA and then in the mentoring. So tell us about your journey.
Oh, it's been amazing. I don't know that there's words. It's been so empowering. I've met some amazing, amazing, amazing people. And this weekend just sealed it all together. It helped me come into my own empowerment. I still have a long way to go, but leaps and bounds. It has been really such support. The support is what I think I felt the most. The support was, you need that, because a lot of times you're alone. You know, you're in that density ring and you have all these people around you. You need the support to raise you up. And that's what this is to me. You know, it's been really amazing. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Is she amazing or what? Right?
Really.
Thank you, Whitney. Thank you,
Thank
sweetheart.
Thank you.
All right. Who else would like to share? We have so many hands up. There we are. Come on up, B. And so what we're sharing with you right now is what happens when we say yes to ourselves, right? So come on up, Angel.
Oh my God, this woman is an angel.
Oh my
she
God.
walks the walk, folks.
Hugging an angel.
That's the truth. Her truth is the truth.
Oh, God bless you.
What can I say? I mean, when the pandemic hit, you were the first person that came on that I saw and said, "We got you. We support you. We're going with this." And I said, well, if she's going with it, I'm going with it too. And I'm going to keep going. And I can't, I said yes with Kira. And it's been nothing where I thought I was going to lose accounts and I was going to lose my business. No, my business pivoted. I was able to pivot. I said yes. And it pivoted. It totally shifted.
Yes. Miracle maker.
I want her more in the camera.
Yeah.
I'm doing that. Yeah.
Pivoted.
Yeah.
I've been thriving. It's amazing. Yeah. Car service airports were my thing. I thought I was done. No, I pivoted. Yeah. I work with the UN now. I'm the only female company.
Woohoo!
Look at that.
That
right?
is working with the United Nations.
Do we not love this or
Incredible.
what? All right,
Incredible.
WWA power.
I'm
Yes.
the only female owned. I found out during this whole thing, I shared with you guys
Yes.
that I'm the only female company in New York City.
Oh my God.
Owned
Yes.
car service.
I mean,
Right on. Yeah, right. That's applause. I agree with that.
I mean, I didn't even know it.
I love it.
And then when I saw the Kanyari come on,
Oh,
I heard those drums. They called me.
Yeah.
That's what called me. And I told my husband, I said, you know, I was supposed to go to another retreat. And I said, that's not calling me. I said, Ecuador's calling me. And my husband said, if it's calling you, go.
oh,
Just go.
Oh,
That's where you belong.
crying.
That's where you need to go. And I went. And, you know, every time I had a little bit of a self-doubt, it was like that Indiana Jones moment. Where
Yeah.
you put your foot out.
That's what we do here.
You put your foot out, and there's a step. I can
Yes.
keep moving forward.
I love it.
Yes.
And every time I had that doubt, even density, like you guys know, I was a day late.
Right. Try
Right.
to stop.
That's right. That's
Yes.
right.
And I was not gonna, I knew, like, the best we can do is keep going and say
There it
yes.
is. There it is.
That's it.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you for being
Thank
such
you. You are incredible.
I mean, I'm here.
Is she here or what?
I came in here at 2:00 in the morning. I fought density for 24 hours.
Oh, baby.
Oh.
Oh, baby. Thank you.
Thank
Oh,
you. Thank you.
Right? I was operating on no sleep. I woke
knew-
up
this
with
is
everybody.
true. This is true.
She went up the mountain all
Three
night.
So you went all the way up to the top.
I don't know how long that mountain is, but I am from Jersey, so I kept picturing the temple as a mall. So that worked. The first time I went up there, I was like, okay, I did it once. And then they were like, oh, we're going up again. I was like, oh no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah, right?
Oh,
The whole time my
yeah.
theme was,
Right.
hell yeah,
Oh,
heck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then we went to the, oh my God, the Avesa, like, now it all came together. We were in the Temescal. We were all one breath with
Yes.
the women and the men. When we did the Avesa, we were one breath. You felt the heat. You felt. Now I sat right up front because somebody moved.
Yes.
So there was 4 rounds of energy basically, and it was a gradual build in this Temescal. And it was amazing. And there was a time I said to a friend next to me and said, sister, how do I get out of here? I said, I need to tap out. And Alex said, don't go yet. Yeah. And he was absolutely right.
Yeah.
I stayed.
Yeah.
I rocked.
She did. She did. She did.
I saw the grandfather, okay?
Yes.
I saw the energy of the grandfathers. And they spoke to me and they said, stay. They
Oh.
said, you got this.
Yes.
They said, you have this. This is your walk. This is your truth. You didn't come to back out now. You made it this
Yeah.
Yep.
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 far. Rock on, sister. Keep
Rock
rocking.
on. Yeah. I am loving this.
And like, I had a moment where I saw the serpent. And can I tell you about the serpent?
Of course.
Can I go
Please,
there?
yes,
Can I
yes,
go
tell
there?
us.
So I saw a serpent head, and he was basically, this was the elders of the grandfathers telling me that he had an egg with him, and the egg was the seed of the planet, and he said, you were a part of this egg. Everyone is a part of this egg. And then it was like I went to another dimension, and I flew up, and I saw our seeds. Every part of us from generations and generations and the layers of this earth, this beautiful Mother Gaia building. We built this. This is all of us for generations and generations. What I never. And there was one part where Alexander said, my hands started pulsating and you could feel the earth just rocking you and holding you. And by the 4th time when he got to the great elders, and the masters, I felt the embrace. It was total. It was like, there's nothing I can't do. Yeah. There's nothing that will ever stop me. I know who I am now.
Yeah.
I've never, in about 15 years, I've never felt connected. And I feel beyond connected.
No.
Yes.
Oh.
It's like the light is like shining and vibrating through me. I've been vibrating for like I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning just to go home on the mountain because I was vibrating so hard. I had to release some of it. Yeah. And I'm like still shaking. I'm just like, it's here.
Yeah.
You know, it's here, and I can walk the walk or I can sit down. But I'm not sitting down. I'm walking it.
Yes, you
Wow.
are. Thank you, sweetheart.
Thank you.
Love
you,
I love you. Is she rocking it or what? Boy, is the mountain calling you. I find 4 a.m. is the best time.
It is.
That's really I was giggling saying that's Kira time. Every day, that's when I'm up. Somewhere between 4 and 4:44 is like every day. Yeah. Wow. Who else? Well, one
Dana.
more. Dana. Get up here, Dana. And then we've got Joni. All right, Dana. Look at the cutest little sweater on the planet. Oh, my God. This is Dana
This
from
woman.
Jersey.
Yeah.
Another woman. Oh, my God. All right. Talk to us. Digame, as they say here.
I started, I've been on the spiritual journey, I think, my whole entire life. But when I found you guys 2 years ago, it brought everything together. And then it just kind of evolved. I said yes. And the miracles started happening. I said yes to the Women's Wellness Awakening. I said yes to the mentorship. And the miracles just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And everything aligned. Everything, I went and saw Jess and did her retreat. And when I was there, we set the intention that I was going to be here.
Yes. Oh, right on.
We did.
That's exciting. I love that.
It was set.
Instantaneous
Yes.
manifestation. Love it.
It
All
was
right.
with the whole entire group that I was going to be here. And
Awesome.
I was going to be on
Oh, my
this
God.
program.
Awesome.
It was. And when I got here, just to get here and be here was amazing. And when it showed up and to see everybody, it was like I'd seen all these faces before.
Because of the mentoring, right?
Yeah, we've been together.
Yeah. I was like, I was like, I know what you all look like, you know, right?
And it was like
Yeah.
we have been together.
Yeah,
we
that's
have
true.
been on this journey. And then you
That's true.
see the light. You just see all the cycles and all the different secular time that has happened and all the synchronicities and all the miracles since we've been here and the Kanyari and being
How was your
together.
night with them?
So the first night was amazing. Just being up there and being so honored to be in their traditions, in their services and everything that they had. It was an honor to be part of that.
Such an honor.
And to be there, and know that culture. And the next day and to sleep overnight and to wake up in the morning and to see that sun come in and those cosmic light beings that were being brought in and that golden ray of light and that crystalline light was unbelievable. And the pictures and the light and the beams and the radiation. And then when we walked down and we were there and just we were here. None of us were really tired.
Right.
We were here. We were all together. We kept going, and the synchronicities and the miracles just still continued to align. And then we went and we had a celebration, and then we
Festival.
went up that night and we did it again. And then we sat in a temescal and. There are no words. I felt cosmic light coming in and just pulsating through me. I felt the heart of the earth open up into crystalline light. And I'm shaking thinking about it. There was violet light around it. And when the light was coming in, it was just going in and it was running through me and then running through the earth. And it was a cycle. And there was we went into breath together. Ave Sa breath.
Yes.
Is the most unbelievable thing in the world and can get you through anything.
Yes, and it does. And it does. That is truth. That is truth. Yep.
When we first went in there, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this.
Right?
There was that moment, right? They're packing you in like sardines.
I don't know how I'm
Well,
gonna
how are we
do
gonna
this.
stay in here?
And I went into breath. I went into breath, and then we all went into breath.
Yes.
And there was a point where when we went into breath, and it was so hot, but then it expanded. I was floating. I was no longer hot. The water that was coming off of me was making me cool.
Yeah.
I was expanded to the point where I had so much room that I felt like I was sitting at the top of the mountain and the cosmos were right there. And there was so much room that I was sitting there with the masters.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah, it's great.
It really is.
And then
It's always so fun.
And then I had a woman next to me who was coughing, and she was wheezing and wasn't well. And at one point, her knee and my leg were next to each other. And she put her hand right on top of my hand, and she went into Ave Sabra with us. And the light just was coming through. The crystalline light was coming through. And B can tell you, I started coughing, and I was bringing it through, and coughing and bringing through that and it was, I felt connected to the earth, like my body was pulsating with the earth. It was the most unbelievable experience. And then we came out, and we got this sacred bath.
Yes.
Right? Oh my
With
gosh.
the roses.
Yeah,
and
no,
the
it's so. Yeah. Is that the most sacred thing ever? Yeah.
I have chills and then we walked down the mountain at 2:00 in the morning.
No, it's 3.
Born anew.
Yeah, born anew, and like just we're so pure, and it was so unbelievable. And then we went to sleep. And we woke up, and then we all just saw each other's beautiful crystalline eyes and faces and glowing the next day.
Well, and I had the honor of seeing as they were coming down the mountain, we were grabbing you guys the first night in real time as well, because that's video we have of the glowing crystalline eyes. You cannot not see it.
No, it was
It's
amazing.
so beautiful. Yeah.
It was amazing. So I am so honored. And
Thank you.
It is unbelievable, and this is our time.
It is our time.
And this is real.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Thank
Yes.
you.
I love
Thank
and honor all of you.
We love you. Thank you, sweetheart. And everyone that's been speaking so far has been with us since the beginning of WWA. And this is the kind of energy shifts. All of these people, when they began WWA, did not set out and go, and I'm going to be in Ecuador at the equinox in March, nor would they have ever thought it could have happened. But that's the gift of when we come together with honest to goodness, naked authenticity, support, and safety. Jess, one of the things that I love about the mentoring was really our small groups. During each one of our mentoring sessions, we first come together, and it's a Zoom meeting, so we see each other, and it's really like family. It's great.
We're in each other's living room.
We really are. Yeah. And then we break into these small groups where Jess, Shri, and I each champion, Women Wellness Awakenings, and we just mix it up. And it's like when everyone arrived, like you were sharing, I know you. Right. We know each other because we've been on this incredible power-filled journey, and that's the wise counsel.
It is.
That's together we are better. And it really does all begin with the WWA journey. And so please go to shriandkira.com. On the homepage, scroll, you'll see a beautiful graphic that says Women Wellness Awakenings. If you click on that, you get the home study. But more importantly, join us for the mentoring. Yes. We are starting it up again because we are only 6 months from the September equinox. Remember that we opened this weekend, all right? So this beautiful March equinox, and the way that it really is looking is like this beautiful rainbow has just come up. And that rainbow's end, so to speak, is the September equinox. And right now we're in this energy of amplification, 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 and we're going to be going through these gates that are going to start opening right away in May, which is why the I Am must come forward in April, because April is a month of experience, and that May gate is showing up in choice, and it's showing up with great power. And so our moments, the way that the time has come in, the spiral energies and the concentric dimensionality, this is that moment to be, to share. And so we hope you join us again. Jess and I are really excited. Sri Radhika, the only reason he's not here is because he's teaching a dynamic crystals class right now in our other room. And but we are beginning the same week as the I Am. It is going to be Monday, you're going to be there for the I Am discourses, and then we're going to amplify that empowerment Wednesday night, right there when we launch the WWA mentoring again. We will be doing another 6-month series. You can jump in month to month. You can jump in for 3 months. You can jump in for all 6, but it's going to take us to September because we all need to be together right now. These 6 months matter more than any 6 months have ever mattered in our entire lives. And so please, 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 by this afternoon, you will be able to find all those links for the mentoring. We will be getting it out in e-cards, and for sure, be there this Sunday at Sri and Kira Live when we return with all of the April predictions and a lot more about what's coming forward, because this is that moment. It's our empowered moment, Jess. It really is, isn't it? And so I want to just take a moment, and we're going to bring in some more of our other mentoring people in a little bit. But before we do, I think it's time we heard Jess's story.
Where
exactly. And this is the key. When we come together, when we really own the safety for each other, when we share what led us to our empowerment, when we share our breakthrough moments, what we're really doing is offering affirmation to all of us that no matter what you have been through, it is absolutely exactly what had to be for you to be here now. And when we can come together and source the mastery of those experiences is when we can break free of them a lot faster than if we're sitting at home trying to figure out how to break free of them ourselves. And so this is the blessing of sharing the wisdom of our stories. And so I've got what's left of my coffee. I'm even going to go sit on the couch. And Jess is going to share with us the blessing of Jess. So how did you get to be this amazing, amazing being that you are now?
A long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Let me put my hair in spaghetti buns.
Yeah, I mean, this journey to this moment has been beyond incredible. The fact that I'm sitting here, I'm alive, I'm thriving, is a miracle in and of itself. My own journey starting as a child, I was born really fully awake. And like so many of us, this world tries to push that down, right? And I chose mastery experiences. I know that now, that I had to walk through and be through in order to find my own power again. And I think, where I really get taken back to is when I became a mother myself. And I was living in Costa Rica. So, I mean, like Latin America holds a huge space in my heart always. And that's where my children were born. And I was in a marriage that was, frankly, very, had me in the most disempowered place I'd ever been in. That really gave me that opportunity. Like, are you going to just die? Because that was my option. Like, stay in here and die. And I almost chose it. I was almost like that disempowered and that sucked into it that I was like, I'll just accept that, this is going to continue on, because I was so, desperate to and scared to break free. And I was so entrenched in it. I was like, I'll just accept that this is going to be this horrible and I can do it. Like, that's where it was at. And, in that time, the first thing that happened to me that really changed things, the universe is always taking care of us. There was still a piece of me that was always saying, no, I've got to get out. Every time I would visit Michigan, that's where I'm from, with my little babies, I would pack my most important papers and photos thinking, maybe this time I won't go back, But when it finally came to that moment, and I knew, like the breaking moment came, and it was like within 3 days, I was out of there. I was like on a plane, out of there with my babies. And before that moment came, I had been home visiting, and I went to a women's circle. It was a community of women, and somebody read out of Louise Hay's book. For me, that was a huge opening moment. You Can Heal Your Life. And I went, oh my God, like it just resonated. And I went to the bookstore at the mall, and I was so broke, right? I'm like looking at the book, it's there, and I'm like, I don't have $15 to buy this book. And the next day I go to a rummage sale, and it's like a donation kind of rummage sale, and it's sitting propped up right on the top of a pile of books facing me, her book, you know, so I give them $1 or $2, whatever I had in my pocket for this book, and it's disappeared and reappeared in my life multiple times. It's got all my notes in it. For a while I went, where did my book go? It's one of my most precious books because it got me through, and I brought it back to Costa Rica. I marked it up. I healed my inner child. I worked, and I was like the happiest I've ever been. Everything that was going on, I was like, you know what? Like, I know I'm taken care of, and I know when this relationship will be dissolved. And the moment came, and it was very fast, you know, and I moved back to the States, packed up my little babies, and moved back and started my single mother journey. But it was so empowering. I never felt so free in my whole life. I got on the airplane, and Delta was coming out of its bankruptcy, and they served champagne that day. And I was like, it's for me. I was like, oh my gosh. 'Cause I was so happy to be leaving. Yes, I was only sad about leaving Costa Rica. Like, that was sad, but like the end and dissolve of that, I knew it was a moment. It was a celebration, right? And it was shortly, really after, you know, I went to grad school and worked as a manager at the natural food store, and that ended, and then I really had some more healing to do. And that's when I found a healer that introduced me to Shri and Kira's work. And that really began the whole next phase and cycle. I mean, it was like rapid, like I'm home, and you know, this is my family. And I mean, it was like 6 months later, I was in Guatemala, you know, like I'm going, the first opportunity I had, and I took every class, every training, everything, and had transformation upon transformation in my life. And like, I knew this was what I wanted to teach people and what I wanted to do. And I started off as a healer, as a doula. That was where I really began. It was like also right in that, it was like in a few months' time that all of this came together. I found the most fantastic training for the doula work. And I always knew I wanted that since I had an amazing birth doula for my kids. And I was at that point where I could offer other women. I had my sister and a friend and somebody else all request me to be at their birth. And I took that training, and that was like the ignition moment. And then I did the self-ascension intuitive counselor and the medical intuitive. And in that piece, like, I was always like, not as confident in that as my birth work. But then when I realized it was birth work, this work we do, I'm like, it's the same thing. It's the same confidence you have when you go into the birthing room with a mother as she's delivering as when you are sitting and spiritually midwifing and doulaing for other beings and holding that space while they have their emergence and birth, you know, their healing and their moment, you know. And if it wasn't for all the experiences I had, you know, I mean, there was such a breaking open of compassion and love for myself and all the beings that played their role, you know. And you're a master, and if you've been through stuff, it's because, you know, how can we find our empowerment without going through that experience that would ask us to choose whether or not we were going to pop or drop? You know, and so many of us need to go through those experiences, and I have nothing but compassion and love, even for those beings that were the hardest on me to walk through. You know, it doesn't mean we accept it or say that, oh, that was okay, but knowing that they're the masters that came here to serve in order so I could rise, like, I bow before them, you know. And women and taking care of women and the divine feminine, I mean, that's always been part of me, you know. Get me out drumming, get me out in circles, get me out with the women. I want to see that healing, you know, and supporting the men too that are ready to embrace that part of themselves and their divine feminine, and to bring this, you know, to the earth. I mean, nature means everything to me. This planet means everything. I love this planet so much that I'm not going to stop, you know, I'm not going to stop trying. And I know this is the moment that I was born for. And I know so many of you felt this. When we felt this like a year ago, when we started this great last cycle this year, you know, it's, I know all of us felt like this is the call. Like, this is the moment. Now it's like, do it. Or, I mean, what else, you know, what else are we going to do? And the experience of how this birthed with Master Lady Kira Ra and Sri Ram Ka, the Women Wellness Awakenings, is incredible in itself. The universe kind of just kept like intersecting us, like, this needs to happen, you know, and we committed to making that happening. And we were so inspired and listening to that guidance and called forward these, the mentoring experiences and circles that you all came into with like such open hearts, created such a personal and magical experience. It was like everything I've ever wanted to do with women and to support others. It's everything I ever wanted to do has happened. So this year, at this time, I'm going, okay, I've accomplished everything I actually wanted to do. So now what? And this is where I'm at. Is like, let's vision this next phase, and I'm so here for it. So thank you for letting me share my story. Thank you. And thank you for being here. Thank you.
You know, this is what happens when you have steadfast commitment, focused awareness, and complete trust, right? Because Jess does the work. And, you know, so many people occasionally, one of the things Sri and I always talk about is Reverend Ike, right? That when someone's being really successful, when someone's doing what you would like to have, rather than be jealous or feel competitive, it's like, that's for me, That's for me. And when we go outside of our that's for me moments, is when we become just the opposite of that. And so to do what Jess does takes a lot of personal courage, tenacity, and absolute steadfast commitment, focused awareness, and complete trust. Because when you step out, and I know, everything gets thrown at you. And so why is Jess sitting here? Why is Jess part of WWA? Because Jess does the work. Jess does self-ascension. Jess isn't trying to create Jess's world. Jess is a literal teacher of the work of self-ascension. And if you have not been to selfascensionstudios.com, you are missing something. And so make sure you get there. Also, make sure in these up-level years right now, we know that those new moon illuminations are important. And this beautiful woman hosts those ceremonies. They're a little minute, like $2, $3 donation, but it's every new moon. You want to be in on those ceremonies. These are things we do for each other. You know, we are in the moment right now. How do we sustain? Where is our service? What are we doing? And this is that moment. And so let's bring up another one of our WWA beings. Joni had her hand up earlier, so we're going to bring up Joni. This is another beautiful one. And I want to show you, look, Joni gave me a gift. This is Joni's company. Look at her amazing company. You guys remember Sri and I, our first radio show? Is that the best serendipity? So this is Joni's company. It is Higher Love Exceptional Cannabis grown in the UP. And Joni is the president of this amazing company. And Joni has been with us through the whole WWA. Oh my God. Welcome, Joni Moore.
I don't know where to start.
Oh my God, I do. Show us the shirt. Right. We have to see the shirt. Can I? We have to see the shirt. That's where we're starting. I am digging the shirt. Love it. Okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
So now we know where to start.
I don't know where to start with all the beautiful beings here and the transformations just that I've seen in the last few days. I've been here like 6 days, and the transformations that I see with everybody, like everybody's glowing.
Yes. It's true. It's true.
I'm sure the audience must see it.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I keep thinking about the spiral as everybody's talking. And Jess, you just said it, that you think, oh, where do I go from here? But I know where I'm going from here. I have 2 pages of notes written about what I'm going to do when I get home.
Yes.
Everything from the clothes that I wear, the food that I eat, you know, my exercise, my house, and my business, you know, just everything. So
I am so happy. I'm sorry. I'm just so happy for you. I really am.
I'm so glad to hear that WWA Global is starting up again. I figured it would be, but I'm definitely signing up for that.
Yeah.
I mean, my experience with WWA Global was amazing. As you know, I opted for the private mentorship with you and Sri. Yeah. And talk about the perfect balance of the divine feminine with the masculine. It was perfect for me because, as you know, the cannabis industry is predominantly male, and I'm not that way. I have a more intuitive, crystal way of working with things, and I was getting swallowed in and swallowed up. And so I'm still working on it and how to fit all of that together. But Kira and Shri were the perfect combination of support, loving support, and calling out my bullshit. And
They do
that. Hey, did you notice this? Oh yeah. And it was perfect. It was just perfect. And then coming here and meeting the Kanyari, everybody, right? Everybody is just blown away by those people. I couldn't speak their language, but I understood everything.
Exactly.
You didn't need their language. It was everything from the plant medicines, which I mean, I haven't even begun to speak about that, but we've been talking about a different website about cannabis consciousness, and my mind's already going plant medicines, consciousness, because of what we experienced on the mountain. When you have that awareness, trust, commitment, and you open your heart, and then you take a plant medicine on top of that, not saying that's for everybody, but for the people that are ready for that, it's amazing what you get. Everything from the plant medicines to the sun coming up on the equinox to just Alexander and noticing people like B. I think you said you were ready to get out, and he looked at you and said, "No, not yet," because he knew that you could last a little bit longer, and I could see it in his eyes. I kept pestering Amara over there because she had her camera, and I kept saying, "Take pictures of him, get his eyes, get this," because I'd see him like look out of the corner of his eye, and like I just knew he was channeling so much, and there was
crystalline light.
Yes,
They're the crystal.
Yes.
They are the people of the crystalline light.
And they invited us into the most personal moments of their lives. He asked his wife to come up, and he presented her with a feather. In the first time they ever allowed women into their ceremony, and in front of all of us, who he didn't know but he felt was his family, he offered her a feather and said, "Feathers are for healing." And there was not a dry eye in the place. It was just unbelievable. And he said one little thing. I think it was when we had our feast here, our Panchamanka at the end. He said something about putting a seed in everybody's heart, and I feel that. I feel that seed in my heart that I'm going to take away from here, and it's going to continue to spiral with the new WWA.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think I have to come back in September.
Oh no, you have to come back. That's not optional. We all have to come back, and we have to make sure that more people know about it. Yeah.
I mean, it's just unbelievable. It just blows my mind, everything. So grateful.
Oh, we are so grateful. Thank you, Joni.
Thank
you. I love you. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And thank you, audience.
All right. And we have another WWA being who has been with us through the mentoring procession. And this is the wonderful Amara from California.
Bay Area.
Bay Area.
Not Joycey.
No. Other side.
Well, I've been with you for this journey from the very beginning.
Yeah.
The nurturance, the momentum of each week. It wasn't just WWA. We're talking Saturday, Sunday, Monday magic, Sunday, which I call my service, my church service. I was going, I'm going to church, guys.
Yeah,
see you in 2 hours. And I said, it's not a church, but.
Right.
And then Tuesday, Soul Mirrors.
Right.
And then Wednesday at my lunchtime or 1 o'clock, which was potent. It was an ignition. I've talked to other women, and we all felt this potency.
And this was another WWA.
WWA moment. Yes, it was 30 minutes of potency. We could call in, but it was receiving and being ignited. And then later in the afternoon, being with our sisters, maybe a couple brothers too, which was really wonderful. And then sometimes the first Saturday. So support. And of course, new moon. Yeah. And I was called to mentor with beloved Jess. The full Monty. Without being clothed with light and support. And there's this evolution. I was here in October, and I was doing WWA in October. And I had this realization that I went from a point of victimhood where things were happening to me when I first joined Shri and Kira, and kind of brought up the victim's triangle this morning, to I was laughing at that meeting because I said, I realize I have embraced the conscious choice to be a victim instead of throwing it off.
Exactly.
It was like,
that's powerful.
it's the evolution of unconscious victimhood.
Exactly.
To saying, okay, I'll choose to suffer and be the martyr,
Right.
to the point of, this
Right.
isn't who I am, and this doesn't even empower me,
Exactly.
nor those around me.
Yep.
Right
on. We're all clapping.
It's almost a selfish little game of ego because we're not being present for those who have been arranged to be present with us. Here all the choreography comes together.
Yeah.
So that was the build-up. And I'll tell you, one of the most powerful moments was between the last 30-minute session on that last Wednesday and the final group coming together, where I had to process a lot of pain that had to do with my family that I had married into. I had some deep, groaning sobs. And I had to go through some ego pathways of not being allowed or accepted to be in this family of, we're talking 35 years now.
Right.
And I suddenly realized I'm not part of that tribe.
Yes.
I'm not part of that. I'm not part
Oh my God.
I'm not part of their story.
The minute you said you
breaking
weren't.
free.
And it's the minute we say yes.
And I decided from this point on, and with your encouragement of my reading in October, I'm using the power of my birth name in all my business. And during this whole WWA cycle, I have made rapport and plans and growth with Jim Onick. And I am becoming a certified laser therapist this weekend.
Yes.
Making the investment in the next, I don't know how many years of my service after 44 years of current RN and service and working with birth.
Yes.
And it's just getting better and better and better. I don't see myself as having any type of age. I'm ageless. But the future is there's no limitations. And when it comes to being on the mountain, we witnessed our beloved Alexander healing too. And he was coming forward, and this is when I really was bawling. He was coming forward and saying, because of the presence of the women, he is now cooking and taking care of the children and bonding with his wife on a new level. And either it was his wife or one of his cousins came forward. And this is a final fail share. She said, unless women are present at ceremony, and here it was their first invitation, unless women are present at ceremony, it is not a ceremony. So I wanted to share that thought.
I am in love.
Amazing. So the final thing is, it went from the evolution of having the women in their circle, their relatives and friends, be able to take turns sharing the sacred tobacco and sharing their hearts, to the next night where we were as women from the north invited to say a prayer in the sweat lodge, to sing a song in the sweat lodge. And then at the final Panchamanka gathering, we were invited to say a prayer again from the women of the north. And so there was just one being. And what I said to him was, forever I have been infected with your joy. And he laughed. And I said, the greatest prayer I have is that the whole world becomes infected with this joy. So I'm picturing this beautiful rose-scented light all around our planet. I know we've helped heal Gaia. I came to be a part of this. We are better together.
Indeed we are. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. And thank all of you that are with us right now, because through this moment of sharing, through this moment of empowered presence, this is the time, I'm loving that everyone's talking about, I'm making these plans, or I've got these action steps, I'm putting this together. What are your action steps? What are your action steps? Because part of living an empowered life is the recognition that is when we awaken that the real work begins. And through that awakened presence, can you put him in? Yes. Sorry about that. My dog really wants to go outside. Go on, Henry. You want to go out? Go on. It's okay. All right. Forgive me, everyone. My dog is, we're going to let him stay here then for the moment. Sorry. Sorry, everyone, but you know how it is with your big
It's a real
dogs.
moment.
Yes, it was a very real moment. My dog's not too big to be seen but he's right here. I know Henry, honey. And okay, so I want to regress. Forgive me, I got distracted by my dog here. I just want to make sure he's. So isn't it true that as women, we learn how to multitask fast, don't we?
We do.
You know, and that's one of the things that I'm reflecting on right now is that these Kanyari women that were brought here essentially to sing and help prepare food wound up at the top of the mountain in the ceremony. And I was reflecting about when Shri and I first met with Alexander, I was actually the first person to meet him. And I'll never forget, I walked up to him and I had my staff and we were at Chobshi and I walked right up and I did this. And I'll never forget, he looked at me like,
What?
you're the wrong gender. And it was really quite funny. And then Shri walked in behind me and he went, oh, okay, there's a man here. Like it really bothered him that there was only a woman. Well, then the group was almost 100% women. And so this poor man, and it took about, oh my goodness gracious, I forget how many months when I graduated from the wife to the worthy wife. And literally I would be addressed as, you know, my brother Shri and your worthy wife Kira. And no, seriously, I mean, that's literal. And that was progression. I mean, I was now the worthy wife of my husband. And now they actually call me Lady Kira.
Yes.
And this is something they don't do. None of their wives they call lady. And this was the first time for me that I've met Alexander's wife. I've spent time with him. I've spent time in their homes. I have been up in Kanyari with their families, inside of their very sacred places. And I've sat with the women, but never like we did this time. And when we were bringing up the offering, the initial opening of the huge fire on Friday, there was a moment where 4 of us women took an offering to give to the mountain herself. And we walked up together while everyone was still down in the main circle. And after we made that offering, we were so close to the throne where the cosmic Isis had appeared that I looked at them and I said, do you want to see the priestess's throne? And they were like, you mean there's a priestess throne? Like they were so shocked. And I said, yeah, come. And I brought them up. And I showed them the priestess's throne, and they immediately saw the little hand. There's a little baby hand that's in there from probably millions of years ago, and how you literally play the chords of the throne and how to place the head on there, how to utilize the throne. And they were crying and crying and crying. And the next thing you know, we're all taking all these pictures together. And then I asked them if they wanted to see the Naga serpent. And they were like, there's a Naga serpent? And so I brought them down to where the head of the serpent is. That is actually much bigger than we thought. It actually winds quite a bit around the mountain. And the one thing that we all confirmed, and this was the first time I have had this time to be with these women, is that their women's councils were abolished. Yet, I mean, they still have councils, but I'm talking about the women's councils that actually have the equal voice. And let us not forget that in Cerro Nario, the one crown that they did find was on the head of a woman. And that Ingapurka is a priestess's temple and the only one. And people often say, they call it the Machu Picchu of Ecuador, but Ingapurka is an egg and Ingapurka is Kanyari. When the Inca came, they built around it, which is why they say it's the only oval temple in the Incan Empire. Well, because it's Kanyari, because it's not Incan, it's Kanyari. And you can see the difference because the oval temple where the ascension portal is, where we do the initiations when you come, because we're allowed that access, in that oval is that creation seed. And as Alexander was talking to you, so what happened was when Shri and I moved here, part of the divine empowerment, part of becoming and understanding even who Master Lady Kira Rai was for me, was moving here, was this piece of the journey. You know, the one thing that we're clear about is that we went to Uruguay because there was no indigenous presence at all. Because Uruguay is an incredible country that demonstrates what happens when you wipe out all sense of indigenous culture. There is none. And I looked for it hard. And looking for it actually caused me to be the subject of incredible racist acts against me. And it got to the point where we were in the vegetable aisle in the grocery store. And my husband was the proper color and ethnicity to live in Uruguay, but I was not. And what happened was that when Shri went to go to another aisle and I was standing in produce, 5 women came up with their carts and they all blocked me in. And I couldn't move. And I was standing there. And then at the same time, they all looked at me. Then they all turned their back on me at the same time and pretended that they were looking at vegetables. Ooh. And I couldn't get out. And they held their carts against me and I couldn't get out. And then when my husband started coming back to the aisle, they took their carts and all walked in separate directions. And, you know, as a young child, I was subjected to horrific racism. We were the only dark family in a very, very white bastion of republicanism it is today. It was Bedminster, New Jersey. And it was not easy in the early 70s I was the darkest skin these people had ever seen. And what's happening right now in my life with this incredible reverse aging, I was showing everyone here, I'm going to show you right now, and I'm keeping Jess here to prove that I'm not like, this is real. I've had people coming and pulling my hair here recently, literally, not this group, but other group. But look, guys, you see this? Okay, look at this. This is brand new hair. You see how short it is? This is brand new hair. It is pitch black. It is nappy. It is wiry. It is incredibly ethnic. And this is my 9-year-old hair. This is hair. This is when I was 9. And if you go back and look at any of our YouTube videos, any of them, I was at the point I was sharing with everyone here last night where I was confident that part of my journey was to no longer have any hair at all. I thought, well, you know, maybe and I was even in my mind designing beautiful things like, okay, I get it. This is how it's supposed to be. And then this started happening. And this is my hair today with so much oil in it, I can't even tell you. This is after I've tried to treat it. And so I'm sharing this with you here. I'll pull a little more out. Look at this, brand new hair, brand new hair. And here's what's so fabulous. Look at the bottom of my hair. See, this is that really thin hair. And this is why I'm not going to cut my hair because the proof is literally in my hair. And I'm not cutting my hair. And so you can see, and it's 2 textures. Feel here, all right? Feel there. What does that feel like? All right. Now feel the bottom.
Completely different. Yep. This is so thick. What's growing in here?
No, you can see, and you can feel it. The texture. Yeah. This is, Brillo. And this is, silky, kind of very, very different, thin. And, that's what's so powerful is that what happened is that in the energy of Ecuador, when we lived in Guatemala, Shri and I spent 7 years living with the Highland Maya, and we lived with them during the 2012 years. And we would sit in sacred circle as they would cry about how their heritage had been stolen and about how there were those among them that have learned English and were cashing in. And we wrote our book, 2013 Mayan Sunrise, which you really should, it's a great read, try to find it. Yeah. And what happened was that when we lived with the Mayan, they taught Shri and I and showed Shri and I things that are so sacred and entrusted us with so many secrets. And one of them being the 4 Naguales that were first commissioned in our ceremonial site at Tosa La Laguna on Lake Atitlan, in our ceremonial site, which is written into the Book of Days of the Maya, Seis Kapul Bats. And when we left Guatemala, we clearly heard to bring those to Uruguay, and we did. And we brought them to Uruguay and created a beautiful altar there, a beautiful, incredible Mayan altar. And when we first stepped onto Terra Nostra, which was outside of Jose Ignacio, incredible estancia there, the most beautiful place in the world. The skies in Uruguay are the most crystalline, beautiful skies in the world. The moon, I have never seen a moon more beautiful. It is the most cosmically incredible place. It is the most crystalline place. And Terra Nostra was truly nirvana, heaven on earth. And we were blessed that on Terra Nostra, we discovered actually an ancient wall. And so here we are on this property that actually had some of the very little remaining evidence of what had ever happened. And through that, we were able to really anchor the crystalline indigenous. So here we had our 7 years living with the Highland Maya. Then we carry these Mayan artifacts there. And then right when I was very clear we needed to leave Uruguay, a great horned owl came, and we had a huge labyrinth with a big pyramid in it. And this great horned owl came and sat in the eucalyptus tree right at our beautiful labyrinth pyramid area. And for 2 days, we all had the blessing of sitting with this owl. It just sat there. And the morning of the third day, Shri went out and found the carcass of the owl. It had transitioned overnight. And to this day, I still have all those feathers and have shared those feathers. And that's when we knew that we were being called here. What we did not know at the time was that the symbology of the owl feather to the Kanyari is the greatest master of them all. Owls to them are about the illumination, the protection, the ability to walk between the worlds. And we came here with a great horned owl that pointed us in this direction. And so it was no surprise when we found that out about the Kanyari. And when Shri and I first landed here, people love to judge Shri and I by the way we look. Everyone told us, you have to go to Vilcabamba, you have to go to Vilcabamba, you have to go to Vilcabamba. And so we went to Vilcabamba. And what I found was that the indigenous hated the expats there. What I found was that they had been so overrun with spiritual activism and entitlement energy. There was no community, there was just a lot of judgment. And there was a lot of anchoring. And awesome for those that are there. I mean, awesome. And there was also a lot of really overinflated prices. Oh my God. And before we had left Uruguay, this place, Tosa Blue Mountain, I found it on an expat real estate site, and it had been listed for 2 years, so I was sure it was probably not available. Well, imagine my surprise when I wrote, and it was certainly available. And before we left Uruguay, I had shown it to Shri, and he was like, I don't want to do that much work. Oh my God, we just got done remodeling Terra Nostra. I'm not going to do that much work. And I knew it was our place. Yeah. So I just kept my mouth shut. And my husband wanted to go to Vilcabamba. We went to Vilcabamba. He even put an offer in on a home that I knew wasn't going to go through, so I never worried about it. And I did. I knew it wasn't going to go through. It wasn't it was lovely. It would have been okay, but it was definitely not it wasn't us, no. And so we wound up back in Cuenca 3 days early because I didn't enjoy where we were in Vilcabamba. We were going to stay there for a week, and I couldn't handle the spiritual activism and the judgmentalism and the competition. And so we came back to Cuenca, which I adore. And I was like, well, there's this place and we're only a half an hour away. And so we got a cab, we came here, and it looked nothing like it does right now. But in my world, it looked exactly like it does right now. We came in. You couldn't even get in the driveway because there was so much mud and dirt. First thing we had to do was literally make the driveway. And we got up to the corner of the house where I now have a spiral stairwell because the first thing I saw was the spiral portal. And I went right into that spiral portal where I captured it with the stairwell and hugged the corner of the house. And I held her while she cried. And she told me her story. And then I opened my eyes and I saw her as she is today. And I knew that we had been on a journey that had to bring us back to balance, to the center of the world. That when Shri and I left the United States, it was Archangel Zadkiel who said, if you do not leave, it will be too dangerous for Kira to live here. And we already had black helicopters. We already had lots of military interference. We already had so much happening, and it's all documented. We have pictures of all of it. And leaving, we also saw the potentiality of the polarity. And what we were already seeing back in 2010 was the almost incestuous relationship that all beings of the spiritual nature were trying to have with each other. This group supports this group only. This group supports this group only. This group is, oh no, we're more than you, or we're more than you. And we knew that that wasn't our journey. And so because Shri and I have never cared about any of the illusionary trappings, we went on a journey of our heart. And we spent 7 years living with the Highland Maya, learning their secrets because of the deep devotion we have. We got to save an entire village from a cholera epidemic. We got to raise funds to build schools again. We were bringing in blankets and donations. I'm teaching girls how to wash their hair and having them cry because no one ever cared enough to show them how to take care of themselves. And it was an incredible moment living at Lake Adatlan. And Uruguay was my time with Lord Shiva. it was a 2-year dance in the cave where everything was shown. And Tosa Blue Mountain is the portal of ascension. It is the Ketterneth. And this portal of ascension opened this past weekend in harmony with all of you. Shri and I are just blessed to have been the ones that needed to be the custodians. But you know, one of the things that Alexander keeps saying to us is, I can't believe you're letting us have access. It's their land in my world. We're just blessed to be the ones that were able to get it ready for them to have access. We are at a time where it's not about what you own, it's about what you do with it. Yes. It's about the service you're willing to offer. It's about knowing that when your flow increases, then what are you doing with it? What are you doing with it? Because it's easy to talk about things, but it's really, really, really the truth when you walk it. And many people are often afraid of me. And many people talk about me, and many people project on me. Even those that I love the most, they're always talking about me. And that's okay. It's all right. Because what they think is none of my business. What matters is what I know. What matters is what you know. If I was a man, I'd be winning awards.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right.
I just happen to have the wrong genitalia. But the reality is that I was the only girl among 4 boys. And you better be strong, growing up in a Northeast New Jersey household. And then you wind up going to schools where you're too dark to be accepted in a school. And you learn what it's like to be beat up because of the color of your skin. You know what it's like for people to scream at you and call you brownie and chase you all around. You know what it's like when the lights go on after the film strip in class and they all go, oh my God, look at her hair. Because my hair was nappy and big and very froish. You know, it's my hair. And so the gift of all of that is that I know you because you are me. I had the gift of a father who tried to kill me when I was 2 because why would you keep a woman alive? I've had the gift of 4 brothers who I never really knew. I had the gift of being the slave of the household because that's what women are. You are the slave. I got to pick up my brother's underwear. I got to vacuum. I got to clean. I got the blessing of knowing how to cook really well. And I got the blessing of knowing how to navigate a man's world. I also got the blessing of learning how corrupt so much of the dogma is. So I'm going to share a story with you that I don't know if I've shared before. If I have, then forgive me for sharing it twice. But the reason I'm sharing it is because of the danger of the ism moment that we are in right now. So I want you to breathe in and remember that all ism separates. I was very much ahead of my time from the moment I was born. By the time I was 9 years old, I was looking through the want ads, figuring out a budget, how I could move out of my home and get an apartment. I was born and raised in a family business. I was doing my father's payroll by the time I was 8 years old. I was negotiating for him by the time I was 10. And that was what we did. And by the time I was 9, my mom was sitting on my shoulder crying about how she made a mistake marrying my father. So I did not know what it was like to be a child. I never was a child. And I was also very intelligent. And because I was a woman, why would you support the intelligence of a woman? So even A+ wasn't enough. Even at the top of my class was not enough. President's roll, not honor roll, president's roll was not enough. National Merit Scholar winner wasn't enough. And I was very artistic. And I wanted to be a musician. I was going to be a ballerina or a musician. I was in dance and many other things. But the message that was sent to me early on was, squash who you are. How many of you got that message? Right? My message, when we would go to dinner, my message from my parents was, don't you dare tell anybody what their dead grandparents are saying, and don't you dare make them cry by telling them something else. And it would be something as easy as walking up to someone and going, your Nana loves you. Because, I was like this tall. And when I was in 7th grade, we moved from Bridgewater to Bedminster. And that's when things really shifted. That's when the whole Bedminster thing locked in. Excuse me. And I will never forget that I had made the cheerleading squad and I was really excited about that. And my mom was late picking me up for a basketball game when about 12 of the local very white group came and beat the shit out of me and ripped my uniform. I mean, it was just one of those classic moments, right? You know, and all the racial slurs that you could ever get. And I remember my mom pulled up and blamed me. What did I do? What did I do? And so you got to thank her for playing her role so well, right? So at that point, they threw me into Catholic school because they really needed to get rid of me. They didn't know what to do with me, because why did my brothers fit in? Well, my brothers got my mother's genetics and they looked white. They have green eyes and white skin. So, you know, they were doing just fine. So I became an insta-Catholic. I was never Catholic. I was 13 or 14, probably 13. And my parents put me into this very, very small private Catholic girls' boarding school. And the nuns found out that we had never been baptized. Well, oh my God, you know, let it rain down brimstone now, right? And so we literally became insta-Catholics. We were like forced in. It was like, okay, here's your first communion. Here's your first confession. Here's this, you know, boom, boom, water, water. And I mean, next thing I know, I'm a Catholic.
Wow.
Literally. I remember seeing her in the church going, you're going to go say your first confession. I'm like, oh, what to say? What am I going to do? You know, right? Like, what am I going to, I'm like, I cursed a few times. I didn't know what to say. It was just like so insane. But what happened, and it was fabulous, was that I would get in so much trouble in this school because I'm a free thinker. And so, you know, you were forced into all these catechism classes and I'm there going, but that doesn't make sense, you know? And then, I kid you not, guys, they wanted to hold a debate about abortion in a Catholic school. And guess who picks the pro-abortion side, right? There was nobody on my table. It was like the whole school and me. And they put me up on stage. No, I kid you not. And I'm trying to make all these rational arguments and talk about all that. Because I'm so freaking ignorant, because I wasn't born and raised Catholic. I was an insta-Catholic. I didn't know I was supposed to not have women's rights. I don't know, you know, what do I know? And so I hated it. I hated this school more than anything in the world. And yes, I was the one selling joints to everybody. And no, I kid you not. It was a boarding school. You know, I'd hang out at night and the maintenance guy's son would bring it and I'd roll it and be like in the bathroom, you know, collecting money. Anyway, I was always an entrepreneur. I'm so true. This is in Peapack, Gladstone. And so I'm in this school and I try to get kicked out. I really tried. I tried so hard. I tried so hard to get kicked out. And so I was constantly being thrown into the chapel. And it was a classic, you know, Catholic chapel where you have the Mary on one side and the Joseph on the other and the bloody guy up front. And I'm sitting there, and as I'm sitting there, I start connecting with Mary. And she starts literally teaching me. And I don't know if you can feel, but I spent so many hours sitting in that chapel because the nuns didn't know what to do with me. And I used to get in trouble to just go sit in the chapel because that's where all my education came in. And she started showing me so many things. And when they wouldn't kick me out, because they would make my father would just like pay the heating bill and then suddenly I wasn't kicked out again. And I studied my way out. I said, okay, I've tried this. I can't get out this way. So then I just started studying it. So I, top of my class, National Merit Scholar winner, I mean, all the other things, quadruple A's, all of that, you know, all the things that come with that. And at 16 years old, I qualified for college, early admissions, was admitted into 3 different colleges, and was all excited, thought I had really accomplished something, you know, graduating high school a year early, going on to college. And when that information was brought to the school, they said, no, you can't, because you would not have enough Catholic classes. So even though you've met every single requirement, and I was already accepted in college, I couldn't do it. And here's why I'm sharing the story with you. It's not for all of that. It's for you to understand how we got here. That transpired into a fascinating dinner at my home where the bishop of the local Catholic church received a check from my father, and suddenly it was okay for me to leave. And I watched it happen in real time. And it had nothing to do. He also offered to offer my father a compensation because my father had been excommunicated because he had been married before and got divorced. And for a certain sum, my father could have easily been accepted back into the church again as well. And it was in that moment that I had the blessing of this direct communion with Mary that had almost prepped me for this. And then I'm sitting there in my own home watching this. And I share it with you because in this moment right now, I do want to say in all fairness that I really believe in the current Pope. And I think that this man needs everyone's help. I live in a country right now where Opus Dei is still very popular. And what I can share with you is that regardless of all the isms, when we start seeing real heart, real compassion, real love, these are the beings we need to be supporting right now. Women Wellness Awakenings is about, if you're going to be Catholic, then go to the Holy Father himself right now. Follow him. Let go of everybody else. Those that repel him, then let them go. If that's your path, then right now be with that man because that man needs your help. He really needs your help. And if you're going to be on the path of ascension, then you need to be you outside of everything that you have ever experienced, anything that you've ever seen, anything that has ever happened to you. This is your moment. And it's the time for our voices to be heard and for our stories to be shared, and then to let them go. It's not about living them or being with them. I do not share because I need to share. I share to help you know that, let he who is without sin cast the first stone, and I dare thee to throw it. And the reason that I am so transparent with everything is because there's nothing you can throw at me that I won't deny. If I've done it, I've done it. And I'll tell you why. Because aren't we here for that? Isn't that exactly why we're here? I don't want to be with someone that has no idea what it took to get here. Nor do I want to be with someone who forgot.
True.
Right? Always remember what it took for you to get here, not to be wounded by it, to be empowered by it. Thank you, man who gave sperm to my mother for trying to kill me when I was 2. I mean, the scar, feel like that?
Yes.
That's when my whole face got smashed, so that's why my nose never got fixed, and that's why I have this. And that moment, in my moment now, there isn't a woman I won't stand up for. Because you deserve your place to be, right? I know what it's like because I've lived it my whole life. We are better together. We are taught to compete with each other. We are taught to judge each other. We are taught to be skeptical of each other. Bullshit. That is all the illusion because when we come together, our strength, right? Our power, our strength, that's women, that's wellness. And the awakening is it's time for the queens to take their places. It is time for the return of the goddess, and it is time for the return of the wise council. It is the moment. And I am here with everything I have because they've tried to kill me too many times. And it's like, whatever. Whatever. What are you going to do? Kill me? Been there, done that. And so I'm here. I'm right here. And you are too. You want to know what it's like to live the empowered life? It's miraculous, it's amazing, it's tiring, and it is exhilarating. It is conscious awareness. It is conscious self-inquiry. It is the responsibility that comes with knowing that no matter what, the universe has got you. The universe has got you. And this is the illusion. This is just the illusion. And when we know that this is the illusion, it makes it so much easier. So let's breathe that in. Yeah. And so I just want to check in with you, Jess. I've been jabbing. I'm just doing all that.
Oh, could listen to you for hours sharing. This woman here is the embodiment of everything that we were talking about. Without you, I don't know where I'd be.
Oh, sweet.
You know that.
Me too.
I'm gonna cry now.
We could all say that.
We could all say that. Where would we be without her?
Yeah.
I don't even want to imagine.
Where would we be? No. We had an appointment though. We knew we would get here together. We knew it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And where would we be without each other? Right? That's what this is about. In 1993, when I radically came out with Women Wellness Awakenings, and it was so radical, it got me on Good Morning America. I mean, it was really radical to talk about that then. My dream was that we would come together this way. And because my tenacity said, I will not let go, here we are right now, and look what we're accomplishing.
Look at it.
Look what we're doing. Look what we're doing. It is our moment. This is the opportunity in front of the all to not polarize, instead support. You know, there is so much happening that is out of balance. And when we meet it with the force that is trying to stop it, all we do is give it greater energy. And it's not that things are without consequences. Sincerely, I want to make sure that that is not misunderstood. What it is the passionate action that says, I'm going to work at this from this level of consciousness, because in this level of consciousness, things happen faster. They happen with greater magic. They come together instantaneously, and they do offer a stability of frequency to that down here, which is terrified of itself. It's just terrified of itself. And that's why we're having this situation right now. So when you're afraid, when you don't know, when you're doubting everything, and I know this, guys, because I've been there with you, that's when I pull out the mantra of self-ascension. I am here, I am ready, I am open, guide me. The ultimate non-dogmatic initiation into the true course of miracles. I am here. I am ready. I am open. Guide me. And when we offer that guide me with the living Ankh practice, this happens. I can't tell you how many times I have been on my knees screaming the mantra of self-ascension. It works. It is simple. It is non-dogmatic. It costs you nothing except an opportunity to maybe make a huge shift in your life. I am here. I am ready. I am open. Guide me. And as I was sharing with some others yesterday, this is why I always have malas on, because you can code your mala. And so it's just for every stone, I am here, I am ready, I am open, guide me. I'm here, I am ready, I am open, guide me. 10 rotations on the same mala seals the energy in. So I'm constantly wearing, it's all I'm ever wearing. More malas you see, they're all coded, every one of them. That tells you, more malas you see on me tells me how much I'm trying to radiate that energy of self-ascension. The living embodiment of the yoga of self-ascension carries with it a miracle presence that I can't even explain to you until you are here. But it does ignite the gateway to a lot of the mystical experiences that you've heard about. And it helps us remember, the more that we awaken through the balance of that energy of the divine feminine, through the wellness that loves this body. Have you really appreciated it?
Yeah.
Look what this body does for you. It grows, it expands, it contracts, it grows strange pieces of hair. It does all these wonderful things, right? This is a miracle. Yeah. And the miracle is when we actually know it. Mm-hmm. When we are the ascended mastery presence that is able to really take around this vessel the presence that says, I love you, I've got this, now go have fun. Love your body. Let your body know it doesn't need to be afraid. And the way that we do that is by loving ourselves enough to stay in our fifth dimensional capacity. Right? I know you've been doing that a lot, Jess.
Yes, definitely. There's always that invitation to take that further, you know, and the illusion and the chaos will invite us to dip down.
Yes, that is true.
Often it will freely offer that to us. And it's a service every time we do.
Yeah.
And we lift back up.
Yeah.
That's our mastery in that moment. And every time we anchor in our multidimensional presence, it's like we put those grappling hooks into a little higher up that
Right.
mountain, and we lift a little higher. And from that perspective, we do see the illusion for what it is, and we do see the gifts, and we are able to hold that presence and bring it into this body of form and create the miracles that are happening all around us.
There it is.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And this is the type of miracle motion. And again, Jess and I, with all of our heart, and Shri, who's busily over in this other room teaching an incredible crystals course, that the Women Wellness Awakenings Mentoring Circle is really a place for us to come together and thrive, to keep this energy alive, to be in the presence of each other, I can't tell you how many of those sessions, and it's just twice a month. It's 2 Wednesday evenings a month where we come together for about an hour, and miracles happen. They really do, you know, and if you have something you haven't been able to work through, we help you through it. And so again, go to shriandkara.com by this evening. All those links will be up. And in the meantime, if you have not done the WWA 4-week program, it is available as a home study. You need to do it.
Yes.
That's also at shriandkara.com. About halfway down the page, you'll see a beautiful graphic that says Women Wellness Awakenings. Click on it, get going. Because the more of us that say yes, the more of us that take the active presence to hold our illuminated self, the faster the balance restores.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the purpose of the I Am Rising in April. So 2 action steps. You got to register, and both of them are right there at shriandkara.com. You got to register for the I Am, and you got to be there for the WWA mentoring. This is the moment.
It is. And, you know, the combination of this I am presence with the WWA.
Woo-hoo!
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
It is. And the magic that happens, you know, it's the collaboration over the competition.
Right?
It's the magic that happens when we come together as empowered beings and witness each other's growth.
Right?
You know, where 1 or 2 or more are gathered, the expansionary energy. And I keep hearing too, you know, Zadkiel, Archangel Zadkiel, you know, and when one of us stands in our awakened presence, right, we're holding that portal for 100,000 more. And it's expanded now.
1 million.
We can be holding for 1 million.
1 million.
And you are supported by that million.
Exactly. It's a mutual support.
Yes.
And it is 1 million now, because you've got the 100,000 is the 5th dimensional presence, but the minute you lift into 7th, you expand that portal to 1 million. And so look at how much, right?
This just this group in this room.
Right?
How many millions are we holding right now?
Love
And
it.
you out there.
Right?
Jinx.
You gotta love it. You really do. And this is that moment. And so if you are over in the chat, Jess and I do have it up. We are welcome to receive any questions that you may have. Those of you here, if you have any questions that you would like to ask either one of us. And I'm just looking around the room. We're doing good here. All right.
I did see some come up in the chat.
All right. So I'll let you go
earlier.
through the
Let's see.
chat. And the key I want to share with you is, you know, oftentimes people say to me, you know, how do you keep going, Kara? You know, how have you kept up? How do you have all this energy? How do you do this? And a couple things that I want to share around that, because the first is I really, really, really care about what I do. That has always been my secret. That has always been my secret, that I really have to have passion about what I'm doing. And so, are you passionate about what you're doing? Does it really serve you? You know, is there a greater sense? And it doesn't matter what your quote job is. What matters is the you that's doing the job. Does the passion that you carry, can it translate through to the service that you're offering? So that's the first thing. The second thing is, and really, I don't think these should be in any form of numerical order, to be honest with you, because it's like, how would I even make 1 or 2 there? Is that I really am 100% in awe, humbled, and daily pinch myself that the universe has asked Shri and I to do this. And I don't ever take it for granted. I don't ever take it for granted. And I know the burden of the responsibility. And when Shri and I said yes, we set aside our lives. We lost our children, both of us. We, our biological children, and we know that was because we needed to be available for more beings. There were things that happened to us along the way that we didn't know were going to happen. We have been through the entire cycle, and we have never once, not even for a second, reneged on the vow that we made with the masters, with the archangelic realm. And that is steadfast commitment and focused awareness and complete trust, even to the point where it has taken our physical lives more than once on this 19-year journey. And so I share that with you because that is why I know it's the reason that I'm like the Energizer Bunny. That I've always had a very high energy level. I've always been able to multitask very well. I've always been very intelligent. There's been labels put on that. I don't like to use them. And so what I can share with you is that it is my steadfast commitment. It is my focused awareness. I don't read anything else. I don't look for anything else. I pay attention to what's put in front of me. I read exactly what I am invited to do, but I cannot be distracted from this journey. Mm-hmm. And that, at the end of the day, is the magic. Do you have that much passion that nothing will distract you, no matter what it is? You know, during this year with you, 2 of my brothers passed away. The first one from COVID, and then 2 weeks later, the second one from a heart attack. Just, that was it, within 2 weeks of each other. Nothing's going to distract the journey. Nothing's going to distract the journey. When we own our mastery, when we really walk the walk of what we talk, and it is rare, and it is a blessing, and when you find it, love it within yourself. Because to be in the energy of integrity is still something that is not very well received on our planet. And that's okay. That's really okay. Because if you're in the integrity of all that you are hearing, all that you are saying, for example, in the knowing that our children, that we as children pick our parents. Look at the sacred sequence of incarnation from ascended numerology, right? So in the sacred sequence of incarnation, we know that we pick our parents. We pick the date, the time, the location, the insertion, so that our soul may flourish. If you really know that, then how can you ever worry that your children are not having the journey they're supposed to have? If you own it for yourself, then why are you sacrificing your life for that misnomer? And I'm sharing that with you because that flies in the face of what density wants to do to distract you. I had my one daughter literally stolen from me when she was 3 years old. I had my other daughter I lost when she was 16. And Shree's son was killed in Thailand when he was 27 while we were together. You know, get that call in the middle of the night. None of that has stopped us. None of that. Because I know they chose us. I know they know what they're getting into. I know that every one of these children on the planet right now is here for us.
Yeah.
And they know what they got into. And if you know that, and if you own that, and if you don't just talk about it, it heals everything. When I really got that I picked my parents, everything healed. I got it. I got it at such a deep level that all I could feel was appreciation. They played their role perfectly. But the key is, I have sincerity, love, and presence when I declare that with you. I'm not just saying that as a teaching moment. I'm sharing that they really did. Thank God they did. Because I knew what I was getting into. And when we can own it to that level, our life becomes so much easier, so much more magical. When we say no to the distractions, and there are so many distractions right now, aren't there? When we say no to the distractions, when our partners in pain come before us and tell us all the reasons why we shouldn't be happy, all the reasons why whatever made us happy was the wrong thing to do, that's the moment where you want to smile and go, thank you. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you for asking. Because what they're really saying is, imagine that really what's animating that being in that moment is the universe going, are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you really sure? Right? Are you really sure?
It will always do that.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Talk about it.
It will always come and ask you, are you sure? Once you've made your choice and you think, oh, I've said yes.
I can do this. Right?
It's going to come up and tap you on the shoulder and be like, okay, just making sure.
Right? Yep.
That you're sure.
You know what you got into here? Right?
Yeah.
You know that. Be careful what you ask for. Oh, you will get it.
You will. You will. You will. And, everything that comes forward is what you asked for, and we don't always know in the moment
Right?
consciously what it was, or else we might not say yes.
Right? No. The universe will always keep you on a need to know basis.
I remember that all the time.
It's my thank God, right?
Right,
Thank
yes.
God. Because if you'd have known, right? If I would have been handed this little thing from Zodkiel the day that Shree picked me hanging up off the Bell Canyon mountain there, and after he just come in and went, now here's the fine print. You're gonna lose your children, you're gonna have this happen, you're gonna have this embezzlement, you're gonna have this stolen, you're gonna have this done. I would have been like, yeah, no, time out. Right? And so thank God we are loved so much. Right?
And you have what you need in you to traverse any of that. Or
Exactly.
you wouldn't go through it.
And Jess, I think we've got a stack of
some
questions
more too.
here. Yeah.
This was the first one I was noticing.
Okay, so we have a question here from Lars, and hi Lars. And Lars says, what should the divine masculine do? I love this. Yeah, right? We love this question. The first thing the divine masculine needs to do is love itself more and invite the feminine aspect of the self to come into a greater balance. We need our compassionate kings. A true benevolent king-queen experience sits within each one of us. And so the divine masculine right now is being called to be the king, the empowered king that stands next to the benevolent queen and together is able to create the perfect balance of harmony. So let's breathe that in. Did you want to add to that?
No,
Good?
No, I think we're good.
All right. Thank you, Lars.
Astaria Serafina. Dear Master Lady Kira Ra, thank you for your beautiful life journey. It is very inspiring, and just keep going. How do we discern with whom to share our personal story in our own lives?
That is a powerful question. The first thing is, how are you sharing it and why? Remember that many are so attached to the story that the identity, even though they might say, I need to let go of this, I want to let go of this, their entire life is organized around it. And so that's the first thing, is to really source the intention of the sharing. The second is, why are you sharing? Really be clear, why are you sharing? Today, Jess and I are sharing because it is time for all to know that you are not alone. So we are sharing in a sacred circle. This is what we do in the WWA mentoring, is we share in the sacred circle, not to get trapped in the story, but to release the story for the greater good. And so who and how you share is certainly a personal decision, and it is also a moment of sacred sharing. Sharing our story is sacred, right? And so make sure that when you share, it is being received with the energy, with the love, and with the reverence that it deserves. And that's how you'll know. Thank you, sweetheart.
Thank you. Thank you. Paula. Now that somebody truly was awake and everything starts again, and you've lost your steps, the commitment, the focused awareness, complete trust, how do you go back? How do you get over being in between?
Right. That's a really good question. You know, Zodkiel calls that being stuck in the fence, right?
Yeah.
That you when we're walking through the wall, we don't even see it. The reason you walk through the wall is because the wall doesn't exist. The wall doesn't exist because you're focused, right? That's that steadfast commitment, focused awareness, complete trust. But as you're walking through, as the distractions are coming at you, when you step to the side and you let the distraction come in, you suddenly go, wait a minute, I'm in a wall. And then you literally get stuck. What you're describing is the stuckness. You can see right ahead the other side. You're aware of what's behind you, and you cannot move because you're in this literal zone of complete chaos. And it doesn't mean that your life is looking very chaotic, although it could be. What it means is that your mind is questioning the question. Your doubts are overriding your trust. And so the first thing you do is what you just did. You say, hey, I get it. I know where I am. That's the first thing you do. Then what I find is I like to giggle about it. I like to put my arms around me and go, wow, oh my God, look what I did, right? I mean, that's the first thing. Find your smile. That's why Ave Sa is so potent. We breathe in, we exhale, and we smile. And so the gift is not to gaze at where we are, to gaze at where it's taking us, to recognize that moment. And so thank you for asking, because I know a lot of people go here. Go back to the basics. Go to Monday Magic. Be at Monday Magic. Make sure you're in the I Am discourses. Get into the WWA mentoring. Be at Shri and Kira. This Sunday, make a note, guys, this Sunday noon, massive return of Shri and Kira Live, whole new show format, lots of footage from WWA, and so much more. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you for
Awesome
asking.
questions.
Yeah.
We've got time here. We have another one that came in.
All right.
How do I help the process within myself to balance the masculine and feminine?
That's a great question. That is a really great question. The first one is sit and be honest with yourself. You know, now one way you can do that is just through your own meditation, to really just, you know, really go in and ask, reveal to me the best of my masculine inner me. Reveal to me the best of my feminine inner me. Ask for both of those to come into you, to be revealed to you. You may even want to get a piece of paper and start at the beginning, right? Use the sentence stem and just put the feminine me loves, the masculine me loves, and keep it in a very uplifting experience. And let go of what you think you should be writing. Let go of what you think a gender stereotype looks like. Let go of any of that. You might be surprised at what's showing up on either side of that equation. And then the key is to remember this. At the end of the day, it's about the balance you feel in your life. It's about the harmony you're living. It's about the peace, right? First chakra, the peace. Second chakra, the love. Third chakra, the joy. It's about having those three chakras stabilized so that the heart lives into the self-ascended presence, which keeps our divine galactic blueprint open. That's what it's about. Because in that ascended presence, even the definitions go away. So it's how do we keep ourselves awakened begins with this unification. So powerful question. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, I'm loving it, you know, and for me, I do notice, you know, in addition to that, when I have to balance those two, because I'm so divine feminine. The masculine has been uncomfortable for me in my journey, but it's about taking the action on the inspiration that keeps me in the balance.
There it is, right? The action on the inspiration that keeps the balance. That is a really important, underline, highlight that, right? Because it is the inspiration and it is the action, and the two must be together.
They must.
Yeah, no, fabulous, fabulous. I love it. I love it. Anyone here have any questions or anything? I just want to check in with our local community. All right. Well, what I would like to do right now is let's offer each other the blessing right now of our star consciousness connection. And so we have two people here, we have two people there, we have two people there, and Joni and Jess.
All right.
All right, you two can hop together. And so I'm going to gaze right into the camera for all of you that may not have a partner at home. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to culminate with a star consciousness activation, because when we greet each other star to star, what we're really doing is saying Namaste, Shivoham, I am. Telepathic communication is your natural state. And you know how to do this. And when we ignite our star consciousness in the frequency of our higher consciousness, then we are able to fully receive the blessing of each other. So we're going to begin with our hands in prayer position. And I'm going to ask you to do that right now. And I want to just remind you that for those of you that may not know, your star consciousness, if you know where your third eye is, it's about 1.5 inches up on your forehead. And just bring your hand up right there. There it is. And you might even want to just touch it, touch, release, touch, release. You're going to feel, it might even feel a little sensitive, a little sore. There it is. Then bring your hands back to prayer position, keeping your focus on that area. And we're going to close our eyes. And in this moment, I would like you to call in a blessing. Call in whatever blessing you would like to share. And just really call that blessing up into your consciousness right now. The blessing that we are all sharing right now together. And as we are breathing in the energy of this blessing, as we are breathing in the energy of our divine connectivity, begin to notice that area of star consciousness really carrying more and more energy. Breathing up with the Ave Sol breath, igniting your star consciousness, feeling that blessing radiating from your star consciousness. You don't even need to be consciously thinking about it anymore. You are the radiation of that blessing. And on the next Ave Sa breath, on the exhale, we're going to open our eyes and gaze at each other star to star. Going in. Open your eyes and greet each other star to star. Breathing, receiving, smiling, and knowing. You are already empowered. You are already a master. There are no words that ever need to be said, because in this moment, everything is already complete. Let us breathe in together. Let's reach out our arms and offer each other a great hug. And you hear them all out there. And we're with all of you. We love you. Join us live, WWA Mentoring. Be there. Please join us for Monday Magic. You can find it all at SriKira.com. We love you with all our heart and soul. Bye-bye.